Good morning and welcome to Community Roundtable, a free public service brought to you on AM 1590 KDJS. If you're a member of a nonprofit organization and would like to be featured on the program, call the KDJS Newsline at 320-235-2900. That's 320-235-2900.
This is our Community Roundtable show. It happens every Sunday right here on AM 1590, FM 105.7. Al Sheldon there. We get to visit for up to a half hour with some pretty darn fun people every Sunday, one of which, again, you've heard before, comes from the Kandiyohi County Area Food Shelf. We have Alana Zeal with us today. Alana, you've been braving the weather like everybody else the last couple, 3 weeks. When possible, how are things going?
We have been braving this amazing weather, if you call it amazing. We do follow the Wilmer Public School policy, so we have been closed some days the last couple of weeks because of if they're closed, we're closed type of thing. We do rely heavily on our volunteers, so we don't want them in danger, and we don't want our clients in danger too going out. So the last couple of weeks have been pretty sparse. I think we've been open probably 5 out of the possible 8 days. So we've been getting more food that's been coming in because obviously when we get food from the grocery stores, those people that utilize the grocery stores and go buy that, they're not going out either in this weather. So the grocery stores are giving us more food too. So it's been kind of fun on the last couple of Fridays. We've been giving away a lot of food at the food shelf. A lot of deliveries from the stores. And you mentioned volunteers. It is tough for volunteers like anybody else to get out and get to the food shelf to volunteer, do the work. It's tough for the volunteers to get to the grocery store. Correct. To pick items up, which I know you have happens. So daily basis, how many volunteers are in to help you out? I'd say an average of 15, at least 15 volunteers a day to make the food shelf run. You know, whether it be, like you said, going to the grocery stores and picking up those items, the people in the back room sorting the items when they come back from the grocery store and checking expiration dates, people helping people shop with produce. It just takes a whole family to make that food shelf run. So, yeah, when the weather is bad, we do rely heavily on volunteers. So it's hard for us to be open on those days.
Now, you just mentioned expiration dates. That was kind of my next question here. With the stores moving product to you, and you're not able to get product out right away, same day or even next day, the way last week was, you get enough advance time on the expiration dates? You can keep things in stock okay?
Yeah, we have been. Typically, like, let's say a gallon of milk, we do 10 to 14 days after the expiration date. Sour cream, we do 30 days. There's different expiration rules that we have to follow through second harvest. So we do. And if it is getting close to like that 10 to 14 days, we'll give 3-4 gallons of milk out at a time. We just wanted to get out to hands of people that actually can use it rather than dumping it down the drain.
Now, normally when a person comes in, they're going to sign up, so to speak, for receiving food shelf help. And normally there's a certain amount of foods that they're able to pick up once a week, once a month.
Yeah, it's actually once a month they can come for a food order, which is your canned fruits, your canned vegetables, your meats, your dairy products. Let's say there's baking items, juices. There is a condiment section, that type of thing. So they can come once a month for that. Right now, I think the board's goal in 2019 is to increase the amount of items that we're giving out to the people for their monthly food order. And we've already started to do that slowly. Our vegetables, we've increased by 1 or 2 cans, depending on your family size. So right now, if your family is of 1 to 4 people in the family, you're getting 5 cans of vegetables right now. Currently, our meats, we're doing 10 meats. So they actually get to pick all these items out from different sections. So let's say the vegetables, we have green beans, peas, carrots, corn. They actually get to pick what their family is going to utilize and use at the food shelf or at that home, rather than handing them a box or saying this is what you get. We're a choice food shelf, which means they can pick what they need.
And again, at a certain point in time, like you've done lately, again, you're going to say, hey, have an extra gallon of milk. That's got to really light somebody up,
Yes. This past week, we were actually doing 3 gallons of milk, simply because, like I said, the grocery stores, they aren't selling as much, so they're giving it to us. So we have the opportunity to give it to our families so they can actually use it.
What do you recommend for people at home that maybe they've changed their diet or there's just something they don't eat anymore. It's sealed. It's in a can. It's dry good in the box. What do you recommend for expiration dates there? To try to bring them in before the date on the box?
Actually, it's 5 years past that expiration date. So let's say your can of corn says June 30th, 2020. We can actually have it on our shelves till 2025. So yeah, if you have something, or you have a family member that passed away and you're cleaning out the pantries, feel free to bring it to the food shelf and we'll sort through it. We'll check the expiration dates for you and stuff like that.
What about canned goods?
That's the same.
That's figured like home canning.
Oh, we actually can't take that. Everything we have to have ingredient labels on it and a manufacturer, distributor, everything like that. So, even like, venison or goose that you shot type of thing, unfortunately, we cannot take that as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good things there, but again, rules to be followed for safety's sake above all else.
Correct, food safety, yes.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
So, gosh, as you and I are recording, now we're not actually here on Sunday morning, although you can think that if you want. We look out the window. You're open today. When you say we go by the schools, you go by Wilmer, correct?
Correct. Wilmer Public Schools.
Wilmer Public Schools.
If they're 2 hours late, we open 2 hours late then. So we'd open at 10. And if they're closed or they close early, we do the same.
Well, you drive in from out of town. Do you have the Atlanta rule where if I can make it, you can make it?
Well, I usually make it in. I worked for healthcare previous to this, so it was a 24/7 job. So, everybody pretty much made it in. So this is all kind of new to me. But like I said, we do rely heavily on volunteers, and most of them are retired. So, if there's a storm or even some snow coming in, they don't want to get out in that bad weather if they don't have to. So
I wouldn't either. Yep. Although I'm always here.
Yeah.
I've gotten stuck a couple of times through the years, but no big deal.
Anything this year?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Good.
No, a long time ago, actually.
Okay.
We're talking those 20 to 30 inch storms we've had, like in 91 and 96 many times.
Okay. Yeah.
The frontage road here in front of our building is a little precarious, to say the least, when everything is piled high and deep. And you can't see the ditch, and where's the frontage road, and where's my turn?
Well, I even kind of noticed that this morning, too. I'm like, oh, my God, is this the driveway?
Right,
so,
right.
Yes.
And it is so bright.
Yep.
I like wearing sunglasses in weather like this, even though you can't see the dashboard very well.
Right. Yep.
So, busy month coming up. March is National Food Shelf Month.
Yes, it is Food Share Month. We do have at least 4 fundraising events coming up. When we say March is Food Share Month, that it means it's a grant opportunity month for us. So the more money we raise in March, the bigger our grant will be from Minneapolis Greater Council of Churches. A lot of food shelves participate in this one, so it depends on how many food shelves participate and how much money this organization that gives the grants out raises as well. So we have the very first one is Sunday, March 3rd. The Wilmer Area Symphonic Orchestra is putting on a concert at 3 p.m. at the WEAC. In an intermission, I will briefly talk to the audience and then pass a free will donation bucket around, and all that goes to the food shelf. And then on Saturday, March 9th, we are helping Cub Foods celebrate their 20th year here in Wilmer.
Doesn't seem that long.
I know it's hard to believe, but Mike, the manager at Cub Foods, reached out to me a couple weeks ago and asked if we would help them, celebrate by doing bagging for tips on that day. So we are bagging groceries for tips on Saturday, March 9th from 10 to 4 p.m. at Cub Foods. Friday, March 22nd is Radio for Relief at the Food Shelf from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then on Sunday, March 24th, the Woodbury Orchestra concert is coming to town at 4 p.m., and that will be at Calvary Lutheran Church. If you kind of recall last year, they come every year. This organization puts on concerts specifically for food shelves in Minnesota. And last year, they were scheduled to come the end of March, and we had that big snowstorm, so unfortunately, we had to cancel it. So hopefully Sunday, March 24th is a good weather day for you guys to come out and to enjoy the Woodbury Orchestra concert. They are amazing.
It could be 72 degrees. It could be
Let's
2
hope.
below. We don't know.
Yeah, let's hope for the first.
We've seen so many variances. My thoughts are, as we're here in February right now, and all of a sudden we went into the tank with the dreaded polar vortex and all of the snow. I'm thinking that March and April will be way better. That's my prediction.
I hope you're right.
I'll either be right or wrong. How's that for a prediction?
You'll be right, Al.
All right. So, yeah, March is a busy month, a great fundraising month. And again, we kind of do a little repeat performance in July with the same kind of thing that we'll work on as the months go by here now.
Yep.
And again, with extra money that'll be available if we can be successful here locally and go get it, So there are some contributions by people that have been made, groups, businesses, that I've noticed you posting on social media that have been very generous. Do you have those off the top of your head?
Well, one that comes to my mind was Christmas time. There was a family from the area. The cousins, they're actually very little kids, anywhere from newborns up to, I think it was 9 years old. They do not give each other Christmas gifts. Instead, they actually bring food to the Christmas gathering, and then later on they bring it to the food shelf, and all the little kids come and they get a tour and stuff like that. That actually was very touching. Those kids were very generous and asked a lot of questions, and it's a way to give back for them and show the families, show them, that other people are in need as well. There's different organizations that have come to volunteer lately. This past Tuesday, we had a produce drop, and we had Verizon Wireless World. Their employees came to do that. That is a fun event. If you out there are part of an organization, a church group, a business, and you want to do some team building with your staff or your coworkers, the second Tuesday of each month, we have a produce drop, and we need anywhere from 2 to 8 people to volunteer in the afternoon for that. And it's amazing how those organizations, how they're laughing and joking amongst each other, that it's not all work related. They actually see each other outside of work, and they're actually helping the community by helping us out at that produce drop.
Yeah, there have been a lot of things that have happened. I noticed recently an ice fishing tournament where they asked people that signed up, wanted to fish and win prizes, have fun, to bring some canned goods, dry goods, whatever they can bring, Mm-hmm. And is it just me, or are more and more groups and individuals doing that?
I think you're right, or maybe we're just hearing more about it too. But I think I'm pretty sure everybody listening out there knows someone, whether you know them directly or indirectly, that actually has utilized the food shelf one time or another. Whether you know it or not, it could be your coworker, your next cubicle worker. It could be the next person in your pew in church. You never know what people's situations are behind the doors when they go home and what they do. So I think, getting that awareness out there that, it could be you next month. It could be your sister. It could be your mom. You just never know when you need it. So I think people are being more conscious of that. I'm hoping that they're being more conscious of that too.
What's a typical food shelf customer, so to speak? Is it working poor? Is it somebody unemployed? Medical issue? Do you see everything like that?
We have all of those gamuts. The statistics, though, really are over half of our people that come through our door for their food order have at least one person in the household working. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's like you said, they're working poor. They're trying to make ends meet. I did have one lady, I think it was last month, that came in. She said she hasn't been there for 3 to 4 years. She's thankful she hasn't needed us. But now she needs us because their only vehicle, 2 people working in the household, the transmission went out. So she said, I have that major bill to pay for so we can get back to work. So I'm back here again. I said, that's perfect. Example of why we're here is to help you out when you need us.
And you cover the whole county again.
We do.
A couple of years back, it was a name change, and a very good name change, because it is all about the county.
It is. We do serve all of Kandiyohi County. The top 3 towns that we're seeing people come to us for food are Willmar, New London, and Atwater. So we do, we've got people in Howick that come, Blomkast, Savea. We do see everyone, and that's kind of why the board decided to change the name too, to encompass who we actually do serve. I think since our name change, we have had more people from, outskirts of Willmar, the Saveas, the Blomkast, the Atwaters, come to us because they can associate the name with why they can come there now. Willmar area, they thought it was just, Willmar and maybe a couple miles out. Whereas, no, we serve all of Kandiyohi County.
For somebody new tuned in, we're talking with Alana Zeal with the Kandiyohi County Area Food Shelf. And maybe you're new to town, or maybe you've never even thought about the food shelf. The question I always ask, and every time we get on the radio together, I always ask for your description on how to find the food shelf.
My description is kind of funny. I do landmarks. So if you know where the Eagles is on Highway 12, or Wilmer Municipal Utilities on Highway 12, as you're going kind of out by Genio, we are one block north of that. So we are before you get to the railroad tracks off of 7th Street.
So if you're east or west on 12, look for the Municipal Utilities building. And there's the Family Dollar Store right there, correct?
Correct.
You'll see that, and that's where you turn to go north, which would be left if you're headed east, right if you're headed west.
Yep. Good job.
Don't cross the tracks.
Right.
Go a block, is it, and hang a right?
Two blocks.
Two blocks and hang a right. Right before the tracks, you hang a right.
Yep.
And it's surprisingly, to me, and I'll never forget my first tour of the food shelf, at the size and the coordination that it takes. A tour is very neat to do. You should do it, even if you don't need to use the food shelf. It'll certainly make you want to help out when you see all the good that's coming out of it. It's a big place, gosh.
It is. I think it was in the winter of 2016 is when we added on a warehouse, which is amazing. That's where our trucks come in the morning and things get sorted. Things are stored there on the shelves. And then upstairs, we gutted the shopping area and produce area and opened it up. So it's like wide open. It's like a shopping experience. And that was the best decision that the board at that time has made. It's so much better right now. And yes, if you have not been to the food shelf, or always been kind of curious about how it all works, or what are you talking about, these sections that you get food from and produce, and, stop by when we're open. Anybody there would love to give you a tour and show you around and just, explain how things work. And, you might know someone that needs help and you can tell them about it later, or maybe you want to volunteer or donate, it's always good to stop in, and we'll give you a tour and show you around.
Cash donations are as good as food, better than food, because...
Yes, for as little as a $20 donation, we can purchase almost $200 worth of food from Second Harvest, our food partner in the Twin Cities. The truck, we order things, and the truck comes twice a month. It's actually a big semi that comes. We just got one this past Tuesday in the storm here. They come and they unload. I think the last couple of times we've gotten about 15,000 pounds of food, whether that be produce that we order or just canned foods, breakfast items, that type of thing on that truck. So it's huge. Yes. It's a big organization, and it's interesting how it all works.
Do you need volunteers? We
do. It ebbs and flows at the food shelf. This time of year in the winter, we have several snowbirds that go down south. So we're always scrambling to fill their positions. In the summer, we have people that go into the field. They do field work and stuff like that. So they're busy. So we are always in need of volunteers. Anybody, as little as 4 hours a day or 4 hours a week, we'll get you something. We have people that are on call. We'll call them when we need them. There's others that I always want to do Friday mornings. I always want to do Tuesday afternoons. They have their set schedules. So.
Do you need somebody that would have a snowblower or a healthy back and a shovel? You have to move snow like everybody else, right?
Yes. Actually, it's the staff that does the shoveling and the sidewalks, but we're very, very thankful that the county actually does come and blows our snow, or snow blows our snow out of the way. They do it on their time, which is great, but we are very thankful for that. So, yes.
Wow, very nice. And again, it's an organization that you almost have to see it to believe it. It's not a free-for-all. People coming in going, I'll take that, and hey, look over there, I'll grab that. It's not like you're going down the aisle in an actual big box store or a local business store, as I like to call them. You guide the people along.
Yes, volunteers that help them shop and nudge them to take what the items that they need and stuff like that. Yeah.
If you had to change something, crystal ball, look into the future, what would you like to see the food shelf do for the next step, if there is one?
Well, I think we're kind of doing it. We're actually increasing the amount of food that people can get. I think that's the goal. And I think that's a vision of a lot of food shelves nowadays, because they can come once a month. And I want that once a month experience to last them longer than 2 to 3 days. Like right now, the typical average person's probably going home with a minimum of 100 pounds of food right now. So like you said earlier, they're getting 10 meats. They're choosing 10 meats from our freezer. I mean, that's huge. That's awesome. That's going to last them longer, and they'll have that money they can use for different items that they need to do, like a vehicle repair or heating bills in the winter, that type of thing. So I think it's just increasing the amount of food. And, my dream would be that no one would ever need the food shelf, but that was never, ever going to happen. I mean, there's always certain circumstances that people need us. So I'm very fortunate to work where I work, and I'm happy to help them people out.
But I think back to when I was in college, and that was a long time ago. I wish I had known about a food shelf if there was one.
I agree. Yes. I know.
Yeah.
We opened in 1982. So, back, even when I went to college, I had no clue about the food shelf in Wilmer. No clue. So, just kind of getting the word out to people that maybe you might think that they need us, or, maybe suggest that that's what we're here for, type of thing. Yeah. College students are a prime example.
A great organization, a great bunch of people, and I've had the honor of meeting a lot of your volunteers and board members and yourself, and the fun that we have in helping to raise food and money, whether it's a Little Crow ski show and the barbecue, or something like last July out at Midwest Technology Campus with a little pie in the face activity going on. There's pretty fun deals and challenges going on out there, different things throughout the course of a year. I have noticed, and I know at our church, on the big screen in front of the congregation before the service starts, all of a sudden pops up, and this is a big screen, I'll tell you, two of them, and all of a sudden there's a great big note about the food shelf and volunteering.
Wonderful.
And donating. And this screen is at least 12 by 15.
Oh, wow.
And one on each side. And I'm like, wow, that is really cool.
Yep.
And a lot of the churches, not just where I go, but a lot of the churches have stepped up a little bit, haven't they?
They have. We're starting to go out and kind of, tell us their story, or tell them our story, and invite those pastors and congregational presidents into the food shelf. Give them a tour, show them what we're all about, and the mission that, God has kind of called us to do is to serve those people. So we are kind of going out and spreading the word more to those churches in hopes that they will help us out a little bit more. Yeah,
and that's something everybody can do, whether it's obviously me, you, or somebody driving down the highway hearing us right now. It's easy to do. Word of mouth is great, but it has to start somewhere.
Correct. Yes.
Do you ever have food that you just don't use or get moved on to a household?
We actually, this morning, we had a box of pears that was left over from the previous day, and they were kind of smushy. So we pulled them, and it goes to a pig farmer. Mm-hmm. So that type of thing, yeah. And when we have abundance of food, like the days that we were closed, that 1 week we were only open on a Friday.
Yeah.
We had so much food. We had so many sweets and breads. It was ridiculous. I mean, we were giving out as much as we could, but we would package things like that for the girls and boys group homes, the Safe Avenues, different organizations in town that perhaps have groups of people living there that might need this. So nothing really ever goes to waste at the food shelf.
Yeah, that's great.
Kind of find creative ways to get rid of it.
Well, if you're donating pears or what have you to somebody who raises hogs, that in turn comes back to help us, because we all like bacon.
True.
Oh gosh, yeah, that is so cool.
Yep.
Last thing before we wrap it up. To contact the food shelf, pretty easy. You're all over social media. You've got email address, phone number.
Yep. Our phone number is 235-2641. We are on Facebook, Kandiyohi County Food Shelf. Just like us on Facebook, and you'll see updates about different organizations that have come to us, different donations, different events that are coming up for fundraising, and different items. And then obviously our website has all of our fundraising events and different statistics on it as well, which is KandiyohiCountyFoodShelf.com.
KandiyohiCountyFoodShelf.com. That's tough.
Yes, it's a mouthful.
KandiyohiCountyFoodShelf.com, yeah. And, of course, for those of you who are on Facebook and you see something pop up, a thank you from the food shelf to a donator or to a group of people, whatever the case may be, hit the share button.
Yes,
that way your friends that might not see it, you can share it. They'll see it. Maybe they'll share it. They'll,
Yes.
The snowball gets bigger.
Yep.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
Speaking of which, do you get those Hostess snowball things? Or
we don't. No, we don't.
Just it reminded me all of a sudden I saw some snacks in my brain, the snowball snacks.
The pink and white ones. I don't know if they do.
I believe they're cream filled.
Yes, they are. Yes.
And your phone number again is
235-2641.
235-2641. All right. Well, Alana, great to have you sit in here and visit for a while. We of course, urge you to drive safely as you get out and about like the rest of us here, and keep things going the way they are. It's super, and a lot of fundraising coming up, March and beyond. We'll be talking about that as 2019 blows by.
Yes, thank you, Al.
Alana Zeal, Kandiyohi County Food Shelf. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Community Roundtable. We'll be back next Sunday.
You've been listening to Community Roundtable, a free public service brought to you on AM 1590 KDJS. If you're a member of a nonprofit organization and would like to be featured on the program, call the KDJS Newsline at 320-235-2900. That's 320-235-2900.